Hi folks, Dave here. Today we are talking about EBITDA. How and why does this relate to dental? Let's find out. So what is EBITDA? EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Let's look at how practice valuation is calculated by the sophisticated buyer. First, we need to find out what the EBITDA is for the practice. A practice has net collections of $1 million. Then we subtract staff salaries and payroll taxes, $350,000. Lab and dental supplies, $130,000. Everything else, $120,000. The doctor's take-home salary is $200,000. That leaves us with an adjusted EBITDA of $200,000. Now that we have found our adjusted EBITDA, we can now calculate the EBITDA margin. We had practice net collections of $1 million and adjusted EBITDA of $200,000. To find the EBITDA margin, we divide the adjusted EBITDA of $200,000 by the practice net collections of $1 million. This equals an EBITDA margin of 20%. Let's now look at practice valuation based on the multiple of EBITDA. The typical multiple for a single dental practice can range from 2 to 10 times. In our previous example, our office had an adjusted EBITDA of $200,000. If we assume a multiple of 4 to 5 times, this practice would have a valuation between $800,000 and $1 million. What are the drivers for EBITDA multiples? Location is a top driver. A metropolitan practice in a strip mall can have a higher multiple than a rural practice. Total EBITDA. A practice with $1 million of EBITDA will get a higher multiple than a practice with $100,000 of EBITDA. Doctor retention. A practice where the selling doctor plans to stay and work back for several years will have a higher multiple than one that needs to backfill with a less experienced associate after the affiliation. Service mix. A good service mix of general dentistry and hygiene revenues will have a higher multiple than a practice that specializes in implants and requires the added risk of a more experienced dentist. Payor mix. A practice with more fee-for-service and PPO reimbursements will have a higher multiple than a practice that relies on government payors and Medicaid. Physical plant. A practice that has 5 or more operatories and room to grow will have a higher multiple than a 3-op practice. There are many other drivers that can affect EBITDA multiples, but the location, total EBITDA, doctor retention, service mix, payor mix, and physical plant are the main drivers to always consider in valuation.
Contact Dave or Cam for a free practice analysis today.